This is DJ Atomica, the voice of Radio Pig. DJ Atomica with an update on the 375-foot tree that came crashing down on Wild Tree Fun last night. Rangers concerned about how to remove it from the trail were confounded to find boarders jibbing on it by mid-afternoon.
Hey everyone, welcome back to SSX Blur. I'm SSX. With me again is Blank Tester.
Hey kids, how's it going?
In this video, we'll be going to the first two tournaments that are on Peak 1 and making our way to Peak 2. But first off, before we do that, I'll be showing a one-on-one challenge. When you see another rider's face on the challenge hexagon, and what you get for that. This one is a really quick one. It's just get a certain distance ahead of the other rider, and that's pretty simple to do here.
Was that a skier?
Yes.
Who was that?
Felix, one of the new characters in this game.
Oh,
actually.
He's new to this game.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's one or two new characters. And that'll be actually something I show, that you can do boards and skis across your playthrough, throughout your playthrough. You don't lock yourself into one or the other.
Okay, I mean, they do play fundamentally pretty similar.
Yeah, fundamentally pretty similar. Again, it's SSX on tour. They played like that. Though then on skis, if you get going backwards, the C button on the nunchuck is to pivot.
Oh, back to... Okay.
Right. Okay, so you'll actually get a board and set of skis for each rider you beat in these one-on-one challenges that are their signature boards and skis, kind of. And those don't give you any stat point differences. It's just kind of to flex on them.
Okay.
Like, yeah, I've got the board with your name on it.
Yeah, well, I took your board, I'm gonna take your wife.
Wife?
And then your life.
And then your life, yeah. There we go. So yeah, we'll look at the tournaments. Before we get into that, I do kind of want to go over the controls for people who haven't played it, or maybe don't remember the Wii. Alright, so on the Wiimote, you have mainly the A and B button. You have, 1 and 2 down there, but those only really do, like, stuff.
Those are, like, menu
stuff in the menu. Yeah.
Or if the controller's turned.
Right. And then on the nunchuck, you have the control stick, and then the C button, Z button, and then, the Wii and the nunchuck both can do stuff with, twisting them, motion controls and such. So, yeah, to mainly ride. And also this first tournament is going to be 2 events, a race and a big air, both on Snow Jam. That's why I didn't want to do Snow Jam.
I see.
That's my example race, because it'd be like you'd see that a whole bunch. I don't want to make the content really repetitive. But alright, yeah, you ride forward and ride around with, again, either the control stick or the nunchuck. You can again set how much influence both of those have. And then to jump, yeah, you can either use A or you can flick the nunchuck up pretty quickly. And that works pretty well, actually.
Yeah.
Then, like, the B button is, on the ground, the B button, you'd hit it, and then you'd flick the Wiimote up and down quickly, and you could throw a snowball. You've seen me do that. Oh. That's actually pretty useful for getting the collectibles that are all along the way in free ride and such. Yeah, and then...
so those will auto-target the collectibles?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you throw the snowball right, you'll often find you, like, do all the inputs, and then the guy will grab the snowball and then just kind of drop it again.
Oh,
and you're
weird.
like, what the hell? That's just, again, because it's looking for a very specific set of inputs. In the air. So there's, like, no pre-winding. That might be something that's weird to people who've come from previous SSX games, but there's no pre-winding. In the air, you flick the Wiimote up or down or to the side to do flips or spins. But again, you see that even at, like, 0 stats, that spins pretty fast. Like, I've always been able to jump and do a backflip and land just, like, off the ground.
So when you do, like, you flick it up to do a backflip?
Yes.
Yeah. So then, how does it know whether or not you're going to land it? Like, because...
You do need to hit the A button or the B button to end your trick.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
While in the air. And also, that's also a point where you'll see that, like, you start doing a front flip instead, and you're like, what the hell? And I guess it's because, like, your timing, and once again, this is why motion controls are a lot tougher. It'd be a lot easier if you could just hit buttons. But in the sake of, I guess, devil's advocate for human error, That's because your timing, you probably flicked back too early, and the game's registering you flicking forward.
Moving your hand back to the neutral position.
I'm just really, like, when I play this game, I really try to think, what did the game see?
Right.
Because I don't, because playing to what the game wants will just make it a better experience.
You know, I'll be honest, and I'm saying this as an IT person, that's true of basically any time you're using a computer. Like, I know lots of people, from work especially, but also like older people, older folks, parents, whatever, who will be like, why doesn't the computer do what I want it to do? And the reason it's not doing what you want it to do is because you're not understanding what the computer is hearing. And like, that's honestly true of people too, right? Like when you're communicating with someone, if you want them to do something, you have to be clear with them, and both of you have to understand what was said.
Yeah.
Same way. Motion controls are very finicky.
Very finicky.
So.
And that's the thing. You could say that technically it is all human error. If you designed a robot to do one of these Uber shapes, to, hit the A button and hold it, and then do the Uber shape and release the A button.
And move
if you designed it to do the right input every single time, the game would register it every single time.
Right. It's
but
consistent.
Humans are not robots. You'll like start moving, start doing the shape, and then hit the A button a little late, or like you'll release the A button a little early. You'll have, after playing for an hour or so, you'll be a little sloppy. You'll maybe be lowering your arms a bit. You'll be doing all these extra things that are providing inputs now and messing it up. And
it's interesting because like motion, like that's a problem in video games generally, right? Like in a platformer, like for example the game Celeste. When you jump off a platform in Celeste, there's actually like a couple frames after you've left the platform where you can still hit the jump button and jump. And like that's because human error is there, and if you're jumping off the edge of a platform, they don't want you to just get absolutely boned because you were 1 pixel off, so you're fucked.
Oh yeah, Blackout and I are playing through Serious Sam, and those first games have jumping puzzles and such, and as soon as your guy leaves the platform, you can't jump again, and that is always sooner than you think.
It's so much sooner than you think, and like a well-designed, well-planned game will give you a little bit of leniency because humans are imprecise. But like any problem from that is doubled or quadrupled because motion controls are also measuring all the things your body's doing that you're not thinking about.
Yeah, so like in all the previous SSX games, when I went to do an Uber, maybe I'd do the wrong Uber, but I'd always do an Uber because it was hit buttons or move the control stick in a way, something that was very
more of a memory error,
0 or 1 rather than all this shit. But okay, to continue on the thing, so yeah, in the air you do hit A or B to kind of finish your trick and have the game bring you around. Then on the nunchuck, when you're in the air, how you do grabs is you hold it in one of the directions. You either hold it up, down, or twist it to left, right, hit Z. And then you can tweak by also moving the thumbstick in any direction. Z is your boost button when you're on the ground. And then C is butter. But you'll notice that there's no combo system in this game. So it's like, why butter? I guess because it was there in the previous games, and again, they pretty much just took those and...
So there's no combos at all?
No, at all.
No multipliers for that. There's the multiplier pickups.
Right. There is no combo system. You don't build extra points by getting a combo.
Oh, see, that's interesting to me, because, like, I would have thought that, like, See, there's so many things that, like, they kept the bones of SSX, but left out things that I would have considered staples of the series, like what's it called? Licensed music. I would have considered that a pretty standard feature of SSX, and combos. I would have considered to be a pretty standard feature, and they stripped those things out.
Those were in the previous 2 games, but those weren't in SSX 1 or Tricky.
Sure, but I mean, like, by the time you've hit the stride of SSX 3.
Well, part of why they do music the way they do is so that, like, they can build on the music track as you get more boost, as you get further up in your Uber meter. Like, yeah, if you're stuck at level 1 riding around with nothing, it's like a cowbell is playing, and that's it. And then as you build up, the full music track will happen. But again, since the game gives you so much boost for stuff, it kind of feels like all or nothing. Like, I don't really see it develop along the way.
Yeah. And it also depends on who the composer is and what their style is, and I don't know, maybe it'll grow on me, but right now I don't have a good feel for what style they're going for.
Yeah, it's just electronic kind of listening music. Like, even going back to original and Tricky, it was definitely a lot more like a specifically kind of house drum and bass kind of pumping. And here it's just music to ride to. It would almost be royalty free if I didn't know that, Junkie XL did all the music for this game and specifically did it so that layers could be added in.
Yeah, I honestly, to me, like, a lot of what I've heard so far makes me think of, like, what an Instagram ad would be if they were trying to show off, like, look, you can take pictures and show off your trip on your vacation where you went skiing and then you went surfing. Whoa, and, like, it's just like a montage of, like, beautiful people doing these things. And this music is playing, and it's like, wow, I can all on Instagram. Like, that's what I'm getting. That's the vibe I get. Like, it's like a commercial.
Yeah.
Or like, Toyotathon is back.
Yeah.
It's like, get ready. We need to get you in that Ram truck.
Yeah, you saw that landing on rails still gives you that kind of secret 2x multiplier. Oh. That's how I got like 90,000 points off that first thing. But yeah, that was a short and sweet tournament. And yeah, so Snow Jam, its secondary event is a big air.
Okay.
I guess again, because they couldn't go back and like work every track in from before, but they still wanted the same kind of event types as SSX 3. So, like, you're not going to play Crow's Nest or, Launch Time or Much Too Much. Instead, it's going to be like a big air using a set piece on Snow Jam or On the Rocks. Or, not On the Rocks, Hot Damn, stuff like that.
See, this kind of makes me sad, though, for the follow-up to this game much later, right? SSX, what was it? 2012, which originally was titled Deadly Descents, and then they just dropped that from the title. I don't know why they dropped that from the title. It was okay. It was fine.
I liked Deadly Descents as a title.
Yeah.
I didn't like how the first trailer and such made it look real serious, but like, I don't know how much the game got changed since then, the final one. Maybe they just dropped Deadly Descents and changed the marketing a bit, and that fixed everything.
Yeah.
In which case, I kind of wish they kept Deadly Descents. I kind of like that as a title.
It's kind of a cool title, yeah. Especially since it does feel like a game of its era, right? Like in 2012, a lot of games were very serious, and so this would be like a sort of take on the seriousness without being super duper serious. But, like, it makes me appreciate this game, seeing what they left out and included in this game, makes me appreciate what they did with Deadly Descents, with SSX 2012, because I really liked how big the tracks were, and all the things they did, and, like, how they felt like they weren't ported,
Yeah, oh my God.
They felt like new stuff, and, like, I felt like I was playing a new game that they put time and effort into, and this feels like kind of like a PowerPoint presentation of all the hits.
Okay, so we're here on Tournament 2, and we're here in the first event, which is a new event type, Slalom.
Okay.
These are awful.
Oh.
Like, you wouldn't think so. You'd think they'd be really simple. Just like, turn left and right. Stay slow, maintain your speed, don't blaze down it. But for some reason, well, one, I really thought I picked a new snowboard, but I joined in with skis, so I was like, oh,
okay, here we go.
Well, it's just, oh my God, hopefully I can explain this, and I'm intentionally missing gates here at the very start.
Okay.
So, like, it'll give you a path. If you miss gates, it'll add 15 seconds to your time, so that's your penalty.
Okay.
You'll actually see that, based on what the other riders got for time, you're supposed to take this slow. So yeah, I'm just showing. Here I'm acting.
Okay.
After I hit restart, I won't be acting.
Okay.
This game, like, for some reason, this is probably the easiest slalom event, and it's still so hard.
Oh.
Because, like, your character keeps wanting to get going fast, which is fine every other time.
Or a tricking event,
but except for slaloming and then like turning. I played around so much. That's why I set the nunchuck versus control stick exactly the way I did, because like I played around with like, okay, what if it's all control stick? What if it's all nunchuck? Oh my god, I can't control my guy. Jesus, stop. And especially, again, since it's motion controls, I found, you're holding back, because you can hold the nunchuck back to also simulate slowing down.
I see. Okay, yeah.
But again, flicking the nunchuck back is how you jump.
Oh god.
And also, like, with doing all of that movement already, you're going to be doing more movement than that.
Left and right.
And I've sometimes found, like, why is my guy not slowing down? Oh, that's because looking down, my hand is rotated over to where the nunchuck is like reading that I'm basically just turning.
Right, because like if you had a wrist that was like a ball joint that could bend in any direction easily, then you could do a precise movement of going back. But like your hand still needs to be comfortable holding the controller.
Right.
So
oh my god.
It's gonna lean left or lean right.
My wrist keeps popping while doing these events. So like all this turning, and you see that I'm like turning way more than I need to, just because like it's either that or I don't think I'm gonna make it.
And I think maybe what they wanted you to do is use your like whole body or like use your elbow, but I don't know anybody who played any Wii games like that except inside a Wii commercial. Right? Like grandma and grandkids playing Wii bowling in the commercial. They use their whole body. They I don't know.
And I'm not sitting here. Here's another thing where maybe this is a bit devil's advocate, but I'll say that nowadays most people won't be doing this. I'm not sitting here on my couch on one whole side of a room with a large TV with the IR sensor on it.
Right.
I'm sitting in my chair at my computer with a TV like a meter away, because my computer is able, what I use to record all this stuff. So like the IR sensor does not have a whole room to be able to read. But I don't know. And also, like, again, like, just skiing added a little bit of complexity. Like, I had practiced this for snowboarding, but apparently I didn't actually select my board or something, so that was on me. But, like, getting here, skiing is a little harder. Your body's fully facing forward. You don't turn as much. So I was genuinely, like, this struggling is real.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I fucking hate that lens flare. Just hate.
Why is this game so bright?
It's so... I wasn't sure if it was my computer. I didn't want to say that. No, the snow is blindingly white.
It is so
sometimes.
fucking bright, and this is not something I want to put an effect on in Vegas. Like, I don't want to turn the darkness down there because the game is designed to be this bright.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly, like, we can tweak stuff in, you could edit together something that looks different than the game actually is, but that's not the point of the series. It's not like we have some kind of grand philosophical reason for doing one thing or another, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But yeah, like some parts, there were parts of, I think, last video where the screen got so bright and you were doing some kind of trick and everything got blurry, and it's like blurry plus bright is just a wash of colors. At that point, I might as well just be looking at smeared paint on a white sheet of paper.
Right.
Because, I don't understand what's going on at all.
Right. So, you saw that. That was me doing it well. And some of that, you saw me, turning back up the slope to try to slow down and shit.
Right.
And I finished 20 seconds ahead of place number 2. They intend you to go that slow and not miss gates.
You know what? I mean, at least you beat it. That's the easiest one.
Why are... Yeah, I hate those. Slalom events are just a bad idea. So yeah, here's Happiness. And they also start you way off to the right, for some reason. But, yeah, Happiness and, tricking event. They don't add multipliers here. They only add multipliers, to the SSX on-tour slope-style levels that didn't have multipliers because they were from on tour.
Yeah.
They also kind of moved some of the multipliers around. You'll see that later. Okay, actually, I do want to talk about this. I am still not sure how to structure this LP. You mainly do the tournaments to win. So I could make this a really short LP where I only do the tournaments from here on out. Or I could make it a longer series where I also do like the single events as well. But I'd be concerned that I'd be getting really repetitive. Like, I'd do the single events, and then you'd see those same things doing the same kind of event in a tournament later. And, like, SSX on tour, with how repetitive that got, really got into my head on, like, how much repetition do you want to see here? Because, again, if I just focus on the tournaments, this game will go by really quick.
Yeah.
There's a lot of out of that gameplay you're supposed to do. Like, obviously, I will not be showing riding around and getting the symbols for unlocking more Uber tricks. I'm not going to be doing that. But, like, yeah, I just don't know. It just feels too short if I only do the tournaments, but it would feel too long and maybe repetitive if I do show all the single events as well.
So, like, each area, or, like, each level has a couple of different single events, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, if, like, for example, you had Snow Jam as the tournament thing, and that had 2 events. Was there any other events available for Snow Jam that you could have done? Because maybe what your structure could be is, like, each video is one single event on the track that we will see for the tournament, but it's a different event than the tournament events. And then the tournament in the video.
It feels like eventually you will do each single event as part of a tournament, though maybe not immediately. Like, Kicked Out is here on Peak 1, which that in itself is kind of weird because, like, that was a level designed for the end game of SSX 3, where you had a lot of stats and stuff. So it's like, you can't really take the same lines, though it is on Peak 1, so they do have really easy to pass scores. But still, it's like Kicked Out is on Peak 1. You wouldn't see Kicked Out until tournament, like, 6. So that's probably the biggest example of, like, if I showed Kicked Out in a Peak 1 thing, you wouldn't end up seeing it for a while. But, like, that first tournament was Snow Jam Race and Snow Jam Big Air.
Right.
So that's why I deliberately didn't do Snow Jam in video 1, because you would have seen it again very quickly. I'll probably have answered this and figured it out already by the time this video comes out, because, like, I'll need to have to record more stuff.
Yeah.
But it's just, like, on one hand, I want to represent this game. I want to give it, a YouTube series that shows what's in it.
Yeah.
Because again, like, if a game really doesn't have, that kind of coverage, that hurts, and having more coverage helps. Yeah. Even if it's not a great game, I'll be willing to do everything if I want to. But also, like, again, I don't want all of the comments, or I don't want people seeing, like, oh my god, it's happiness for the 4th time. I don't want to see this.
Yeah, I mean, we can figure it out. We'll figure it out. By the time people see this video, it'll probably be figured out. So
yeah,
I don't understand. What are the I see music notes coming from your character's ears. Is that a thing? Is that a mechanic, or is that just a visual thing?
I think that's sort of a visual thing for, like, if you get high enough up in the Uber bar and, like, to where you're able to do Ubers. Or maybe if you get into the 4th thing. Yeah, definitely. Or, oh wait, they're here down here.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it gets more and more as you get.
Yeah, again, like
there's like way more.
Like
now.
The music track develops more and more as you get up to Uber's bars.
Not that we can see it. Gosh, yeah, like, see, it's getting a little blurry, and I don't know. Oh, SSX blurry.
And I guess that's where this being all tracks we've seen before in previous games helps out, because I can go off a jump. It can be fucking blinding, and I could be like, okay, this is a jump on happiness that I've done 100 million times.
Right.
I know this one.
The engine's a little different. This thing's a little different, but
if it was a brand new course that I didn't know at all, that's where it would really be a problem. But here, I guess it's like, I still know where I am. I still know how much airtime I have.
Yeah. I was gonna make a joke that they brought back Blood Gulch, just like as a group.
Yeah.
And then I was thinking about it, and I was like, in my younger days, I would talk so much about all these crazy video game ideas that I had, right? Like, I want to see a snowboarding game that does this and this and this, right? And then I realized, like, while we were sitting here, that, like, there's already a first-person shooter that basically has not tricking, but, like, sliding like a snowboard or whatever, and that's Tribes. The Tribes series does that, right? Because you just, like, you press a button and your character's feet aren't touching the ground anymore, and now you're sliding and letting the physics do stuff. It's a weird game, man. I remember when Tribes Ascend came out, you know, my old roommate and I we played that for a little while, and it was, there were so many people who had been with the Tribes series for so long.
Yeah.
They were all amazing at it, and like my computer could barely run the thing. So.
It's like going back to like Quake 3 or Unreal Tournament.
And being like, oh, can I get into this? Like, no, the scene is set up. The people are there.
Yeah.
You know. But it's still, I hope the game is still doing well, because it's like, well, I don't know how well it was doing even then, but like, I hope it's doing alright, because like, those were interesting games.
Oh yeah, like back then when you could do crazy physics and stuff, and I mean
you could just really experiment with weird stuff.
Yeah, that's why there were a lot of games trying to do a revival of that. Like, what was that one game where it was like, it came out in the last few years. People said it was basically the same as old like Halo physics, but you could also shoot portals and go through them.
Splitgate is getting a revival right now, actually.
Okay, because
Arash TV is doing a lot of Splitgate content.
I thought I should like play that and go with it, and then I never actually did.
Yeah, me too. I was watching Arash's content on Splitgate, and I'm kind of glad I didn't, because I already have enough trouble with Halo. But like, you can see in Splitgate they have what looks just like a skinned battle rifle. Like, it fires like a battle rifle, it sounds like a battle rifle, it looks like a battle rifle. So, like, it's clearly Halo inspired so much. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if
but again, like,
343 tried to snipe some of the devs for Splitgate.
But again, like, I don't want it, like, when it gets really fast and such, like, sure, like, the old Halos, you could look at them and be like, oh, they're clunky now, but just, like, they're at a speed where you can still do something with that.
I think you would, if you watch Splitgate content, like, we'll watch them after we record this.
So yeah, with that second tournament, I unlocked Peak 2. You saw some familiar level names. You also saw some unfamiliar ones, but I will say right now, any unfamiliar ones are just renamed. The tracks got new names.
Okay.
Like, because again, remember On Tour tried to be cheeky with some of its titles, like Son of a Birch, Hot Damn. This is a kid's game. They're not going to let him get away with that.
Okay.
Son of a Birch is now Proud Powder, and Hot Damn is now Spring Break.
Okay, yeah, I guess for that reason I understand why they would change the names. Yeah, fair enough.
But like, Peak 2, its hub is the lower station from SSX 3's Peak 2. Kind of. The stations are interesting. You can see parts that are very directly one-to-one, and then you can also see parts where they had to add a bit more to be able to link like 5 tracks in one.
I see.
So it is kind of interesting. You see like kind of what they did for the puzzle pieces. Like I could ride up to the tournament board and just go into the next tournaments and unlock Peak 3, because like the tournaments themselves give you enough points if you win them to be able to go to the next ones. You don't have to like do a whole bunch of single events to be able to get up to a bunch of shit.
Yeah,
and that's nice. Like what you're able to do in the pause menu as well. Like that was you don't have to ride to one of the transport things. In fact, just like in SSX3, the actual transport icon you can ride to is like way more limited than if you just pause and go to your map, and you can transport again to any track or directly into an event at the tracks.
That's weird.
Your career highlights shows you how much you've done in the game. Shows you. Tournaments won, Uber tricks, board shit. So,
alright.
You can use that.
Are you going to switch back to a board?
Yeah. I didn't want to be doing, skis for the whole thing of this.
Yeah.
But again, they are.
That's a nice little pose.
I was trying to do that, and then it's like, why is the game like flashing in and out? Like I was trying to do a dramatic thing, and I
kept thinking you were about to fade out of the video. No, we were done, but then I was like, what?
Yeah.
What? Okay, there we go.
But now we're fading out. Okay, so we're on Peak 2. We're advancing up the peaks, and we'll be doing stuff there next time on SSX Blur.